Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Antonio Alanis, and I welcome you all to the final episode of the series called 12 Steps to Exhibiting Your Work in Galleries as a Beginner Artist. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about something related, very much related to how I have been able to exhibit during the past almost decade as an artist. And we're going to talk about something that I have absolutely loved doing, although it can be hard and it can propel or it can harm how we see ourselves and how other people see ourselves in the world of art. And this comes down to networking and building relationships. So, if you're new here, again, I am Antonio, and in this series, I am giving information and tips that I wish I had or advice for people that are also beginner artists or were beginner artists around helping us overcome all those obstacles that come down to not having people who have lived this experience and people who haven't had the time to learn from others life and others' advice. So, welcome to today's final episode in the series. And I'm going to talk about why it's important to network and why it's good to consider networking in as much as you can. So, I don't have to introduce networking and why it's important because more than likely you already know why it's important. But for me, as an artist, someone who has exhibited in the past, networking has been crucial to building relationships with gallery representatives and how many doors it has opened up to me. I cannot tell you, and I think I've already talked about this in this series, but 9 times out of 10 of the opportunities that I have received, not even related to just galleries, but everything in my career has been through word of mouth, through people's trust, through people who have heard about me and who have experienced my work somewhere and are able to ask about how to reach me. And that has allowed me to increase my work, how it has allowed me to increase how I show up in this world as well, and has allowed me to have more opportunities for continuing this work that I do as an artist. So, as a beginner artist, the biggest thing I would say is start to do things that get you out of the comfort zone. If that's something that is not for you or not that you don't feel comfortable, or maybe you don't feel comfortable going or doing these things. I think that it's a matter of doing things that can help you build the confidence. I won't tell you exactly how to network, but the biggest things that I have learned for me is that the more I do them, the more I go to events, the more I do networking, things like that, the more available I am and open to opportunities. So it can be scary, but the importance about networking is, and it can be one-sided, but I've been very clear that I don't do networking just for or rather, I don't do networking just for my own benefit. I do networking because I genuinely like to meet people and I really do enjoy meeting people. The thing about networking is that it can open up so many things and opportunities for you, and it can lead you to a next step of your career. And honestly, the more personal relationships that I have built, the more things have come my way. So I think that is the beauty about why networking matters. As someone who also can be an introverted artist, I think that being an introverted artist can be a thing that can be a barrier. I like to take steps at a time and not rush. And I usually like to go with other people that I know so that it's not as awkward going to a space that I have no idea who I know. But also being okay with not knowing anyone in the room and being in a space where people are welcome to speak to others and be in stations. I have been to so many galleries, and it's a matter of sparking conversation with people. Now, some people will be not wanting to talk to you, other people will be friendly. And the thing about being in a networking event is that you never know how people will react, and that's okay. If people welcome you to their space and talk to you about your work, if you're exhibiting, I think it's a beautiful way of bringing in someone into your world and telling them what the piece is about, or maybe what you hope the person or anyone who sees it experiences. I think that's an opportunity. But maybe you're not exhibiting. Maybe you can still go out and support your friend or friends or someone you know, or maybe you don't know them, but still you want to go and see and learn from them. I think it's another opportunity that you can definitely keep in mind. So definitely network. Be okay with feeling awkward. I think being awkward is part of the game, and just be okay with it. If you have heard about the ED or maybe the gallery curator and have seen them on social media for the last few months, maybe you can go and introduce yourself and say, hi, my name is such and such. I have been following your work for the longest time, or maybe not the longest time, but you can say the last few months or weeks, and I would love to introduce myself to you. And then hopefully the conversation can keep going. I'm hoping that people will ask you questions and keep the conversation flowing in a way that feels authentic. Now, if there are people who may be very cutting not in a way of physically, but more, I don't want to hear from you, I don't know who you are, leave me alone. I respect people like that too. I have experienced or been in situations like that where I have said, hi, my name's Antonio, and they have looked at me like I'm from another planet. And the thing about that is that it happens. Just be okay with it, move on, talk to the next person. And you know how in public speaking we say the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I think with networking also happens. The more you do networking opportunities, the easier they become. Be okay with feeling awkward, and be okay with not everyone will want to speak or will learn or want to learn more about you. So be okay with that. So, okay, we're talking about networking. How does it even relate to gallery submissions and anything like that? My goal in this series has been to learn more, or rather teach more around what information you gather to make your application stronger. So my biggest thing here would be to attend galleries and opening nights, third Fridays, first Fridays. I don't know what other galleries throughout the country or throughout anywhere they are calling them. But make sure that when is it that galleries are opening up, so you can go out and support, meet a couple of people, maybe some artists, gallery owners, gallery representatives, the nonprofit world, maybe some gallery executive directors, curators, anyone like that, so that more than likely people will remember you if they have the opportunity to spend time with you in a way that say, oh, I remember this person from a few months back when they came out here in this event. Some tips, simply introduce yourself. I don't think we need to make it complicated, and I think that's been one of my biggest tips throughout the series. Say your name. Hi, my name's Antonio Alanis. I am here to support such and such. And what is your name? Or why are you here? What brings you here? A connection, not a connection, but a question that I always ask people is, what connection do you have to the gallery, or what connection do you have to the artist? And people have opened up that way and have been able to increase their speaking time. And I think that's really good that we have the opportunity to learn more about them. And of course, people have loved to talk about themselves. If you want to learn more about them, sometimes people may be more open to talk about themselves, but also make sure that the conversation is two-way. Make sure that you can do whatever you want. Like I said, usually I stay in conversations where the other person is just as curious about the conversation that I have or am bringing to the conversation. If I hear myself asking too many questions and them not being curious about the work that I do, then I will consider moving on to the next individual, the next person, because let's face it, I don't just want to learn about someone. I want to make sure that the conversation is a two-way opportunity to learn about one another. It can have a benefit both ways. Be genuine and think about what values you like to experience and enforce during these networking opportunities. It can be respect, it can be shared interest, it can be thanking them and them learning about you. And those are the types of connecting opportunities that I like, that people show curiosity in my work as much as I show curiosity in their work. So I think that's the biggest thing. My biggest advice, if you're an introvert, it's okay to be an introvert. You don't have to be someone that you're not. I know society can sometimes tell us, oh, you have to be an extrovert, or we value extroverted qualities. It's okay to find opportunities that align with your introverted nature. If you're an introverted artist, think about attending smaller events, maybe events that are a more close-knit, where you can hear people as opposed to maybe just music blasting on a corner. Because sometimes there have been those galleries that have been very loud and there's no way for me to listen or talk to the person in front of me. So I think that can be a good way. Think about where you'd like to go. Also practice your introduction. Have a quick elevator speech. Going back to your artist bio, artist statement, you don't have to repeat your whole artist statement or bio when you meet someone, but that would be a good introduction to helping you pick a couple of lines so you can start telling people, hey, this is me. I am such and such, and I do this kind of work. And maybe tell them why you're there. It can be an opportunity to learn as well. And if you are afraid or not aware about how this can grow or go, it's okay to just go and experience it. Take a friend with you. Maybe invite someone or partner who will live with you, and that can be less awkward, and more than likely you have that person to lean on if you feel lonely or anything like that. So definitely reach out to them and say, hey, there's a gallery opening up on the Friday of the next month. Are you interested in being there? I'd like to learn more about this artist. Just keep it casual, that kind of thing. And that usually has worked. So definitely do that. As you are in these opportunities, always make sure to have business cards. So my phone here has a business card component, more like a little bag inside. And what I usually do is go out to events and have my business cards there in case someone wants to keep up with me or understand more about what I do. And I tell them, hey, you can follow me on social media. A lot of people will ask you, hey, what's your Instagram or what's your platform? I will tell them there. Sometimes it's hard when there's a lot of activity happening, especially if I'm exhibiting and people are coming up and saying, Antonio, I love your work, want to learn more about me. It can be stressful. Have business cards and have people reach out to you that way later and maybe connect. But sometimes people can give me their phone and say, Antonio, put in your handle or your website for me to find you. So again, it's a matter of what works for you. What is it that you want to get out of networking opportunities, whether it's more exposure, work on your social skills, networking skills, or whether you want to increase the opportunity to bring in more money by buying or meeting gallery directors, curators, or even collectors. I haven't even touched on gallery collectors or people who want to grow up their personal art collection. I think that's another important topic. So be aware about those kinds of things. So y'all, we made it to the very end of the video series on the 12 steps to exhibiting your work as a beginner artist. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for staying throughout this series. I'm hoping that you were able to watch or listen to the whole series. If not, you will be linked to the 12 videos of the series that will be available for you. I want to thank you all, and my biggest tip and advice for you right now is to keep going, persevere. If you make mistakes, address them, learn from them. You can do this. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day.